County to our first District 5870 Zoom meeting, Zoom conference, whatever we want to call it. I'm so glad that y'all were able to join. We tried to come up with a time that might be convenient. I know some folks are working and they can't get on at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And we'll talk about future meetings a little bit later on, but right now this seemed to be the best time to not conflict with other club meetings or other activities that people have going on. So once again, welcome. Now that you're on, obviously you know how to at least get on to Zoom. And a lot of over the last couple of weeks, there's no telling how many Zoom meetings I've been on. And I wish I'd have bought Zoom stock about a month ago. But some of you know how to do this really, really well. But some of you, this may be your first time to really venture out into this. Before we really get started, I wanted to have Amber, who's South Austin Rotary and a member of our PI team, just give a couple of little tips that we're going to be using today regarding Zoom. So Amber, if you want to chat for just a minute.
Yeah, hey guys, I want to make sure everybody can see the screen I'm sharing over here, our little funny Zoom diagram. Shake your heads. No?
No, we cannot see it. No.
Okay, let's see what's going on here then. Okay, now can everybody see my funny little diagram?
There you go.
All right, that's what we wanted to get started with today, just a little diagram of how Zoom meetings have been going. And I think it's funny, there's a lot of great content because everybody's going to Zoom over the last 2 weeks. I know a lot of our clubs have been doing it. So a lot of you are pros already at it, but if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or Pam Blankensee or Patrick Harrison. We're here to help. And we also want to make sure you know that we do have a district Zoom account. Obviously, we're all on it here today. But if your club is struggling with how to stay connected, and we're going to talk about that today, know that we're here as a resource and we have an account already that your club can use if we need to. We can set up some meetings for you. I think that's all I had. Is that correct, Jim?
No, do you want to talk about the gallery view?
Yeah, gallery view. Has everybody kind of seen how to set up their gallery view? I'm going to get a whole bunch of thumbs up from you guys, but in the top right-hand corner of your screen, there's a couple different little boxes. And if you click on the box that has 4 tiny boxes together, it should start showing you a gallery view and you can see everybody's face at the same time. Not everybody's, but more than the person talking. Y'all shake your heads if this is if you're seeing that gallery view.
When the screen's being shared, it doesn't do that, but once the screen stops sharing, you'll be able to.
Okay, let's stop sharing then. So I can see everybody's faces too. Okay, does everybody up in the top right-hand corner, there's a speaker view and then there's a gallery view. We got thumbs up coming up. I see people, yes. Excellent. Okay, in the bottom of the chart that you're looking at, there's also a chat feature. And if you'll click on that chat feature, you'll see that you can chat to the whole group by sending a message here. So if you have a question for Jim Henry today, you can type that in and he's going to try to address that. If he can't answer it on today's Zoom call, he's going to follow up with an email. You can also privately chat. So like I've already sent one of you a private chat message saying, hi, I see you. But you can do that to each other as well. There you are. And I just wanted to point those 2 features out, the gallery view and the chat feature at the bottom of this. All right, good seeing everybody. Hope everybody's well and safe.
Thank you, Amber. Again, hit the chat feature when you type in whatever you're typing in. Be sure and just hit enter, and that's how it gets going. We're going to have a lot more on our next meeting about Zoom and the ins and outs of it and how to conduct a meeting with it, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But I don't want you to have to hear too much of me. That's why we're going to have other people talking as we go through this. But I did want to give a few opening remarks as we get started. First of all, I want to tell y'all what this is not. This is not a club meeting. It is not intended to take the place of your club meeting. We're not ringing a bell. We're not saying a pledge and or prayer or anything else. This is a forum where I just want us to be able to to have an open discussion about what's going on in these crazy times that we're living in. It's like I said, it's not to be a club meeting, but it's to be a forum where we can discuss what Rotary International is doing these days, what they can do for us, what hopefully we as a district can do for you, and what you as clubs can do for us. So again, if you're expecting a club meeting, you can probably use it as a makeup, but if you're expecting a club meeting, that's not what this is. We want to encourage all the clubs to be in contact and connect with their individual members by doing a virtual club meeting or however is best for your club to do. So that's what I want to encourage, is to continue your meeting. We've got several clubs that already are doing virtual meetings. Excuse me. I've been able to attend several of those, and they work pretty good. As is in those and as today, we're going to have some glitches. Some things are going to get wonky as we go through this thing, but we'll work on them. Just be patient with us, and we'll try to get it all done. But the topic for today is why. Now, throughout this year, and especially as you know in my district governor talk, the theme a lot has been why Rotary? Why are we doing what we do? Well, it's a little different today because the thing that we want to talk about is why is it important for us to stay connected with each other? Why are we doing this? Why are we seeing each other's faces? Why are we talking? We can't get out and make the personal social contact that we want to make, but we can stay connected with each other. And it's very important that we do that. You know, at this time, we've got a choice. We can, as Rotary, we have a choice, and as Rotarians, we have a choice. We can stay dark. We can stay in our shell. We can just pull up the blankets and wait for this thing to blow over, then try to get back to our normal way of life. Or we can continue our commitment to Rotary, and that's what we're trying to do with these connections, is to keep Rotary alive, keep Rotary in the forefront, keep our commitment to service of self, keep our commitment to doing good in the world. Keep Rotary alive. Don't let it go dark in this time. So that's one of the main reasons that we're talking today, is why is it important for us to stay connected with each other? You know, it's crazy times that we live in, and there's no playbook for this. We can't, there's no real history unless somebody was alive in 1918 and can tell us how we got through the Spanish flu. We really don't have a playbook on how to do this, and so that's what we're trying to talk about a little bit these days and in the coming weeks, is how do we get through this? And the best way, in my opinion, is that we stay connected with each other. You know, we're all disappointed, and we're in chaos right now in our lives. But first of all, I think what we have to do is we have to acknowledge our disappointment. We have to realize that these are different times we've never gone through before. But once we acknowledge this disappointment, we need to place that, we need to replace that with a determination to carry on, a determination to do what we can do to our communities, to help our communities, and what we can do for ourselves to keep ourselves healthy, not only physically, but mentally healthy, to do things like that. So replace your disappointment with your with determination to carry on. I know we've got a lot of folks in our district who were in the military, and I came across in looking and doing some Google searches a Marine slogan. I don't think it's their motto, but I think it's one of the slogans that they live by, and it's improvise, adapt, overcome. And that's what we really need to do. We are doing the improvisation part now. We're improvising. We're not having face-to-face meetings. We're not having projects when we go out in the community as a group and stuff backpacks or build ramps or plant trees or build parks. We're having to improvise on connecting with each other and getting everybody together. Once we figure out the improvisation, then we need to adapt, which means we've got to accept the improvisation. We have to understand that to adapt and to keep us going, we've got to change the way that we've done things all of our life, at least for the next few months. Because if we improvise and if we adapt, then we'll overcome. We'll get through this. We're going to make it through this. I have no doubt at all. And I think that as long as we stay connected with each other, and as long as we keep Rotary alive and keep our commitment to Rotary alive, that at the end of this, we're going to be stronger than we ever were. We're going to know things that we never knew about each other. We're going to have connected on a social basis in ways that we really didn't do in personally. So we will overcome all this. You know, there's been a lot of talk about the social distancing that we have to do, and I agree, we have to stay apart. But my pastor sent us something on Facebook, and I'm going to plagiarize that he really hates the term social distancing. We need to replace the term social distancing with physical distancing, because at this point in time, we need to be socially as close as we can to each other without being physically close. And that's what we're trying to do with these meetings. That's what y'all are trying to do with your club meetings, with staying connected with each other. So I want to stop talking about social distancing. I'd rather call it physical distancing, but it's social togetherness, and that's what we're trying to do here. So, you know, why are we doing this? We're doing it so that we can continue our friendships. We can check in with people from time to time. We can see a friendly face. Just, I love this. We've got almost 80 people on, and with a gallery view, and you can go through your gallery view. We got 4 pages of people out there. And again, if you haven't undone your video, I wish you would, so I can see your smiling faces, because that's one of the best things that we can do, is to see other people and see that people, hey, we're still here, we're still going, we're still active, we're still healthy, we're going to make it through this thing. You need to stay mentally sharp by this continued interaction. We can't pull the covers over our head. We've got to stay mentally sharp as we go through this. It's good that we can talk about our shared experiences, what we've done, what we've had to go through to maintain our connection with each other, to get our groceries, to go to the doctor, whatever it is, about shared experiences of how our clubs have been staying going, how they've been conducting business, how they've been staying connected with each other. And the main thing, I think, as to why we should stay connected is because we've got to provide hope for each other. Not only for each other, but for our communities. Without hope, we've got nothing. You know, we talk about our giving to the Rotary Foundation is because we want to give hope to the hopeless. But we're not hopeless now, but we've got to give hope to each other, that we can stay connected with each other, we can stay active, we can stay mentally and physically sharp, we can overcome this, and we can be stronger than we were from the start. You know, many people, I know in Austin, we're under an order to shelter in place till April 13th. And I know many communities and counties are under the same or similar type ordinances. And one of the big questions that a lot of people are having is, you know, what most of these ordinances say is that essential businesses can stay open. And what the heck is an essential business? And they've tried to define it, but a lot of people don't know what they are. And why is a liquor store an essential business? And why is this an essential, or why is this not? So a lot of questions around what is an essential business. But I'm here to tell you one thing. I know for sure there's one thing that is an essential business, and that's the business of Rotary. Rotary is an essential business. We must stay open. We must stay open for people to join our meetings, to continue for us to share Rotary throughout our communities with our friends. Invite your friends to join your virtual meetings, just like you would invite them to come to a meeting in person. And just remember that Rotary is an essential business, and we've got to keep it open for everyone. So I appreciate y'all being here again. One of the things that I talked about earlier was our commitment, keeping our commitment to Rotary alive. And there have been a lot of instances in the world and in the Rotary world where where Rotarians have kept their commitment to Rotary alive in the worst of times. I'm going to show a little video clip coming up here a minute. For those of you that are don't start it yet. But for those of you that are on the phone, don't worry about not being able to see it, because the main impact of this are the words. This is a video clip from this year's PETS. And the speaker is past Rotary International President Richard D. King, who many of you have probably heard him either going to PETS or going to other functions. In my opinion, he is probably the best Rotary speaker that I have ever heard, and many people agree with that. He's got so many shared experiences and so many practical experiences that he shares with us. But part of his talk and part of the clip that we're going to hear today has to do with a commitment to Rotary. And he's going to tell you about a club and a specific Rotarian that had the ultimate commitment to Rotary. So even if you've heard this talk before, it's not his whole talk. It's just 7 or 8 minutes of his talk. Listen to it in a different vein of how does your commitment to Rotary fit in with the commitment that he's going to talk to you about. So please sit back and enjoy this. Past President Richard D. King.
Over the last half century, and I've met many Rotarians who demonstrated me a sense of commitment that it was hard for me to understand. I remember some 30 years ago when I was on the board of directors of Rotary. In those days, we had our lunch on the 18th floor. And I was finishing my cake one day when an old man came walking in, escorted by a young staff member at our world headquarters. His face was lined with the ravages of the 20th century, the wars of Eastern Europe. And I couldn't take my eyes off of him. So I finished my cake, and I went over and I sat across from him, held out my hand, introduced myself, and said, "You're getting a tour of the building, aren't you?" I've waited all my life for this day, Rick. All my life I wanted to come to America to see where this idea began. Where are you from? I'm from Prague, then Czechoslovakia. And you're a Rotarian. I hope so. You hope so? What do you mean you hope so? Well, I was once a real Rotarian, Rick. I joined the Rotary Club of Prague in 1925, in the springtime of the century. We wore our pins with pride. We flew the Rotary banner outside the hotel where we met. And I said to my wife, let's save up our money. I want to go to America someday. I want to see where this idea began. But in 1939, the Nazis came to my city. And it was treason to be a Rotarian. Some of our members were shot. We couldn't hold our club meetings. We couldn't wear our pins. We couldn't fly the Rotary banner. But a few of us said, why don't we meet secretly, in hiding, every week for just a few seconds, or as often as we dare, to remember that we were Rotarians. And so we did that, Rick, for 6 years. We met secretly, in hiding. It was a glorious day in 1945 when the Allies came to Prague. And once more, I was a real Rotarian. We could wear our pins with pride. We could fly the banner outside the hotel where we met. And I said to my wife, let's save up our money. I want to go to America. I want to see where this idea began. But just 3 years later, in 1948, the communists came to my city. And once more, we couldn't wear our pins. We couldn't fly the flag. We couldn't conduct a Rotary meeting. But a few of us said, well, we did it before in secret. why don't we do it again? So Rick, we did it again. We met secretly in hiding for just a few seconds, as often as we dared. But this time, we did that for 42 years. 42 years. I just stared at him. I couldn't even comprehend how different his life had been from mine. He said, I knew that I would die before I ever got to be a Rotarian again. I knew that I would never get to America to see where it all began. But last year, Rick, a miracle came. The wall came down. And you and Sherry have got to come next May. We're going to recharter the Rotary Club of Prague for the 3rd time. So you see, I've waited for this day all my life. My wife is too sick. She couldn't come with me now, but I had to come. And Rick, once more, before I die, I'm going to be a real Rotarian. I put my arm around him and I said, my friend, you've always been a real Rotarian. I saw him once. He stood a moment there. His eyes met mine, then laid my spirit bare. He held my hand, then passed beyond my ken. But what I was, I will never be again. I will never forget him. Commitment. Commitment.
It's back to you, Jim.
All right, thank you, Amber. Improvise, adapt, and overcome. That's what the Rotary Club of Prague did for over 40 years. And that's what we can do. As long as we keep our commitment to Rotary alive and well. To let everybody know, we didn't say this earlier, this entire presentation is being recorded. An email with a link to the presentation will be sent to everyone. It will also be on our district website. I've heard that speech 2 or 3 times. I think the one that he gave at this year's Pets was probably affected me more than any other, even though it was directed at President-elects. It's the message that he gives to all Rotarians, the commitment that we have. And I keep repeating myself, but that's why we're doing this. This is why the district decided to have this Zoom call. That's why each of you are doing your virtual meetings, is to keep your commitment to Rotary alive. Keep Rotary alive. Don't put the light under a bush. Keep the light of Rotary shining. And as President Ron Burton, past President Ron Burton once said, you engage Rotary, you're going to change lives. And the life you're going to change the most is your own. So I hope y'all have enjoyed that video. We're not quite through yet, and we're going to open it up for some chat type comments or chat questions later on. But first I want to go to who's next? Is it, I guess it's Monique. Monique, if you would tell us a little bit about, as I said earlier, several of our clubs have done online meetings. Monique's going to kind of give us a little wrap up about clubs that have online meetings and in that regard. So Monique, take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, Jim. Hey, everybody. Good to see a lot of your faces. It's cool to see some of you guys that I don't get to see too often outside of Austin. So yeah, looking good all. I like the cool backgrounds too. This is not my cat, by the way, but anyways, I just wanted to share this. I'm going to put my contact information into the chat here shortly. What I'd like is we'd like to compile all of the clubs who are will or are having Zoom meetings or any type of online meeting, whether it's a call, video, both. What we'd like to do is actually compile those and display those on the district website. So for those of you that are interested in maybe attending a different meeting for a makeup, or if your club is having some challenges setting up a meeting, just wanted to offer my services. I'm available to help out either way. So I will go ahead and put my information here in the chat. And and so if you could just like get with your clubs, if one of you, if you're president or whoever's running your Zoom, if you could just send me an email. I know Jim did a great job. He's got about 25 clubs, a list of 25 clubs, but we're just trying to get the accurate information, and we'll display that on the district website, as I said. And then if you are having any challenges within your club setting up some sort of alternative meeting during this time, I'm happy to assist as well.
Hey, thank you, Monique. Yeah, we want to give everybody a chance to stay connected. There are several clubs that may not have the ability or the desire to set up their own Zoom meeting, but I want them to have the ability, if it's okay with all of your clubs, to join into your club meeting, to maintain their connection with Rotarians. So if there are some of you out there that are not doing Zoom meetings and don't think it's right for your culture, that some other platform is better, whether it's through emails or on the phone, teleconferences, whatever, that's fine. But check the district website in the next few days, and hopefully we'll be up to date on meetings that you can join. As I said, I've done maybe 7 or 8, and there's a few glitches here and there, but they are, for the most part, really good. They start with a bell and they do the pledge and they do all the other things that we do. They have speakers that join them either by Zoom or recorded presentation. So there's no reason we can't carry on the way that we've been carrying on. And thank you, Monique. And please get in touch with Monique and let her know about your virtual meetings. We're going to try to continue these district conference calls or conference meetings for the next few weeks, as long as interest is still there. Hopefully it still will be. But to give you a little briefing of what's going to happen in the next few weeks, I'm going to ask Patrick of the Austin Cosmopolitan Club, and also part of our public information team, to give us a little summary of what's coming up in the next few weeks. So Patrick.
First of all, it's good to see everybody. Excuse my look. This is my 13-day quarantine beard, and I plan on growing it very long. Let's see how long I can get it. Jody, I love your background the best, being in the car. That's awesome. So we're going to be doing some pretty, I think some really good programs in the next couple of weeks, the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, however long we can and should do this. So next week, we're going to talk about Zoom do's and don'ts for your club meeting, how to connect with your club virtually. So how can your club connect with their members, how to use all the different tools of Zoom through presentations, video, audio, and how to inspire your club through this time. As you know, we always talk about being the center of service of your community. This is the time to do that. This is the time to assess your club, your community's needs, so your club can then answer those needs as soon as possible. So the next series after Zoom will be, how can your club serve during this time? We're going to talk about service project ideas throughout the district and beyond that you can do while staying at home. Like myself, I'm not supposed to leave my house, but I am dying to serve. So we're going to talk about different ideas of how you can serve while at home, as well as, if it's safe and legal, how can you go serve in person? I know there's a lot of people that need blood and need to serve different food banks, etc. So we're going to have some great service project ideas. If your club is doing service ideas, please send it to my email or to Jim's email or to Amber's email. We will get Pam's email. We will get this information so we can compile it for that time period. Then the next week, we're going to talk about how is Rotary responding to this pandemic around the world. And we look forward to having a guest speaker. And if Rich and I can make it happen, we're gonna have a pretty cool guest speaker come on, hopefully, and talk about what is Rotary doing, how are they prepping, how are they responding. We've been on some Zoom calls that have worldwide response that have been interesting. There's some Facebook groups of Rotary clubs from all over the world, definitely focused in Italy right now. So how is Rotary responding around the world? Then we're gonna do another series after that, the next week. How can Rotarians give and support during this time? How can your club and Rotarians give to the Rotary Foundation and beyond, other organizations that we are supporting within the community or the country or the world, but definitely focus on the Rotary Foundation first and foremost, and then go from there. So that will be another series. And then another series that we have coming up is engaging the community from your living room. How can your club use the social media tools and other media platforms to reach out to your community, let the community know what Rotary is. We always encourage, I know Monique mentioned this in one of our calls that we were talking about to prepare for this, is how can we get club non-club members to join some of these online meetings? I know in our club meeting last night, we had some members that haven't been able to come to a meeting in a very long time, but because it's at home now, we're all at home, they're able to join. So this is a great opportunity for your clubs in your community to really bridge the gap if needed. And we'll show you some great tools, not only with social media, but also some other media platforms. So again, to recap, Zoom do's and don'ts, that will be next week. Then the week after will be how can your club serve during this time? We'll have a bunch of service ideas. Then we'll have how is Rotary responding to this pandemic around the world with a guest speaker. And then we'll have how can Rotarians give support through the Rotary Foundation and beyond. And then engage the community through your living room, how to connect with your community with all these different platforms. So we really encourage you to, first of all, this is an awesome first showing. We look forward to having every one of you back, and please encourage other members of your club or other members of the community to come join this meeting next week. So thanks for being here and hope everybody's safe.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Patrick.
Jim, I'm just going to piggy off what Patrick just said and mentioned. Pam Blankenzy has put together a web page on our website that's going to host all of these Zoom calls. We're going to record them. We're going to put the links up there. So if you ever want to know what the district's doing, you haven't received the email for some reason, you can go to the district website and all that information is going to be there on a link to it on the home page. You'll be able to see it.
And we're also, Pam and I are talking offline about, we're going to have a graphic made of this. Hopefully by the end of the day today or this weekend, we'll have it ready to share. So we'll send it, we'll put it up on Facebook, and then you can share it with all the different club presidents and stuff and get the word out for the series.
All right, thank y'all. Right now, what I'd like to do is if you folks have any questions that you've got or comments, start the chat room going here while I'm still talking, and I'll try to get to as many of these as I can. As Amber said, we are recording all these meetings, and we're going to post the event and the future events on the website. If you go to the district website, sign in, log in as a member, and at the top you'll see the tab that says events. And when that drops down, there will be one of the event will be district Zoom calls. If you'll go there, then you'll find out everything you need to know that we know so far about all these Zoom calls. One question that I had seen already was, are we going to continue to do these Friday at 3 p.m.? We're going to reassess. This was the best time for this week to do it. As I started off earlier, I know some people have to work, and there's some people that can't join us. What I would love for everybody to do, you guys can obviously join us, so you're here. But I'd like to hear from you, maybe if you can talk to some other folks in your club. Is this a good time for everybody? Did this work well for people? Or are there a lot of people that really would like to do it, but man, let's try to do it at another time. We're trying not to conflict with any club meetings. There had been some talk about doing it in the evening. Some people want to spend time with their families in the evening, but just give me some comments. You can either chat it or you can email me. I think you all have my email. If you can just respond to the all district emails that I sent out. Then we'll take this into consideration, and we're gonna kind of have a debrief with our team, and we'll get back to you soon if we're going to continue these on Friday or if we're going to try to come up with another date that fits everybody. Again, I hope this was very, good for everybody, or beneficial for everybody, that you enjoyed seeing everybody's face. Hopefully through the next weeks, you'll have a little bit more in-depth content about some things. One of the questions that came up is, how do we share these meetings with others? How do we invite the question from Lorraine was, how do we invite non-Rotarians to join the Zoom meeting? I think if you see it on Facebook, you can share it on Facebook, but I am not the expert on this. So either Pam or Amber or Patrick or Monique, what do you think the best way for us to try to share that, hey, we've got an upcoming Rotary, and not this Zoom, you can share this Zoom conference too, but I think maybe Lorraine, you're talking about the individual club meetings. How do we get non-Rotarians invited to your individual club meeting? So
yeah, and Amber just responded to that. So you can send the link that we send on Facebook, or there's going to be a link you can copy, or we can, if you're having issues with that, you can email us. I do want to give a little bit of a caution. Like next week, Zoom's do's and don'ts for your club meeting, that might not be the best call to invite a non-Rotarian on, because they're going to be like, this is very internal. But then the next week and the week after that, those are some real great opportunities for content for guests. What is Rotary doing to respond, and how can we serve? So we'll help you if you need any help on how to send the link, but all you have to do is copy it and put it in an email, and then they just go from there. Also, I got a question from Kent Miller that was sent privately, but probably meant for everybody. Where did it go? Something about, I'm getting too many chats here. Where and when can we learn what to do to be a guest speaker to a club on Zoom? What do we do with a guest speaker? How do we do it? PowerPoint or video presentation? Kent, we're going to cover that next week. So next week, we're going to go through the do's and don'ts and how to work Zoom and how to present on Zoom and how to treat your club meeting, as well as how to handle a guest as well. Jim?
Okay, there was a question from John Chenoweth up in the Georgetown area. He asked, is there an easy way to upload the club distribution list to Zoom without having to individually invite each person separately? Now, John, John, unmute yourself and explain exactly what you're asking. I'm not exactly sure. John,
well,
yeah.
When I signed up for Zoom, I was trying to create a distribution list within Zoom to where I could create a meeting, but it looked like I had to cut and paste every individual email address and then invite each person and wait for them to actually accept. So maybe I was doing something wrong.
Amber or Pam, can you help with that at all?
Yeah, John, there's a feature inside there when you create the invitation itself. If you go scroll down the page, there's the thing that says copy the invitation, where you can actually copy all of the text and then paste that into your distribution list over on Club Runner. You can use that, copy that email, and then put that in the email from Club Runner. So you don't have to send it directly from Zoom.
So I don't have to create a distribution list within Zoom.
No, you can do it this other way. You can actually copy the invitation.
Okay, that's better.
Okay.
That's a lot better.
Okay, I've had a couple of chats that talked about, when I ask people to send me an email about what's a good time, if this works for you or not, that maybe we could create a survey, a doodle survey or a survey monkey or something like that, that we could send to everybody about. We'd have to think about how we do it. Is Friday at 3 o'clock a good time? What's your best time? And maybe we can get those surveys. And for those, we can work on that. And maybe, and for those folks that are with us today, if you could send that out to maybe other members of your club to get a consensus, we'll try to get that together as soon as we can to get an idea of what's going to be best for our district. We're never going to be able to not conflict with somebody at some time. But we'll do our best. So we'll work on getting some kind of a survey out so that we can get a response and keep it going. If we don't, as of right now, we will plan on next Friday at 3. But if we get enough responses in, we can make that change pretty easily. We may have to wait for a while for the survey to be answered before if we have to make a change. If one of the group wants to contradict me, that's fine.
Well, I think if we're going to send,
I'm used to that.
yeah, if we're going to send out a survey, it needs to be responded to by Sunday. So if we can do that, we can. Otherwise, like you said, we're not going to be able to please everybody. We've been trying to figure out, as the team here, we've been going through every day, every night, and it always conflicts with another Rotary club. So we've thought of Wednesday night, but that also conflicts with some churches. So if there's any feedback you guys, the original group here, can give us, it'd be very helpful, because we want to make sure this is most beneficial to the entire district and beyond, of all the different clubs. So we really appreciate it, and we'll try to do a poll right now. Actually, Amber's saying, why can't we do a poll right now? Go for it, Amber.
Well, that's a different Amber, and I think there's a couple of us on the meeting today, but I am working on doing a poll right now in the background here. I was trying to get it pulled up. I don't know if I'm going to get it or not, but I'm trying.
Amber, what if we just have them go to the participant and raise their hand if this is a good time, and we can see how many hands are raised?
We could do it that way. I uploaded the poll questions. It's just not coming through. I think I had to do it before we started the meeting.
Okay.
Patrick, or Monique, can one of you see the polling down at the bottom of your screen? Is anything popping up for you?
I am not seeing anything.
No.
Okay, I think it must have to be done ahead of time, because
Mine's showing polling number 1, best time options.
hey,
Where are you seeing?
Where are you in as each other?
Where are you seeing that, Rick?
If you click, where it has manage participants, just click on polls, and mine came up like that.
So Rick, it's because you are the host right now, because you're the last Amber Scarborough to sign in. Do you see at the bottom of that where it says launch poll?
Yep,
Can you hit that launch poll button?
I just did.
Oh,
right.
there it is.
There we go. Now we can poll, I think, guys. Group effort. Where did it go?
Everybody see it?
I see it.
It's
Yeah.
a separate pop-up, so it might have gone behind your screen.
This is great. So if everybody can take that real quick, so we can get this about 70 something people would be a great focus group. And again, today, thank y'all for being here. This is great. We're going to continue to build on this.
I don't have it.
Friday
It should
during,
pop up on your screen.
If you're on the phone, you can't get it.
Friday during workday wins.
Well, yeah. If there's some, I know there's a few other folks that may not have completed.
I believe
it yet.
That's half of the group right there.
All right, good. That's great that we were here.
That's who's here.
45, no, it's 45 of 71 have voted. That's pretty good.
A lot
We
of
can
people
still,
aren't here
we
on
can
Friday
still,
afternoon.
let's still think about maybe a little poll that maybe we could email out, because there's a lot of people that are not on here that maybe they couldn't get on.
Hey, Jim,
Yes.
the Orsa in the crowd, that survey is a self-licking lollipop. The people who could be here at 3 o'clock on Friday are.
Yeah. And that's why I'm thinking maybe we still try to do another little survey, because I know some people have a hardship, even if you're on, it might have been hard for you to get here today, and it might be easier for you to get at another time. So we'll think about working on a poll that sends out to everybody like a
I'm going
survey.
to cut this polling off.
Huh?
I'm going to end this.
Yeah, we can work on sending out a survey to the district, and I know it's always challenging to get something that works for everybody, but the good thing is that we'll be recording these and can post them, for review later if somebody isn't unable to make one of them.
Yeah. And I appreciate everybody's patience with us trying to get the right time for the most people.
It looks
And
like we have Susan Huntington has created a survey monkey for us. So we'll get that out to everybody. Thank you, Susan.
all right, get that to whoever, and we'll get that out to everybody. Well, it's almost, what is it, 3:50-ish or so. And I kind of promised some folks we wouldn't go more than 45 minutes because I know y'all have other things to do. I hope this was beneficial. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you kind of understand why we as a district want to keep you connected and why it's important for you to stay connected within your clubs to keep this thing going. So I hope everybody enjoyed it. Again, feel free to send me an email with any comments if you didn't like it, if you did like it. We're going to do our best to try to please as many people as we can. Invite other people in your clubs. Let them know about it. If they couldn't make it this time, hopefully they can make it again. Let them know that these are being recorded for all Rotarians in our district to see. So hopefully we'll see everybody's smiling faces next time.
And also, quickly, if there's another topic you guys want to see on a series, email us, because we just came up with these because we thought these were the most prevalent. But if there's something someone wants to see, let us know.
And again, I appreciate everybody being here. I appreciate all your comments, all your chats. Amber, can you unmute everybody?
Chaos in action.
Everybody is unmuted. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Dad.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
See you later.
See y'all next time.
See ya.
352, and oh, you still suck.
Bye.
Have a nice weekend. Stay safe.
Jim Bonnie, nice to see you. Bye.
Two.
Is it
Bye.
5 o'clock someplace?
Yes,
Oh, yeah, it's past.
no doubt.
Bye. It's 5 o'clock when the meeting starts.
Love your face.
Carol Sharp, this is Ken. Haven't seen you in a while.
Hasta la vista. Hasta la vista. Ciao.
I know a few.
Okay, I don't know.
New term, self-licking lollipop.
Yeah, that's what we're here today for sure.
I like it. I
Oh,
like
yeah,
it.
the lollipop we got to keep. That's a great one.
I don't want to lick Rich's lollipop.
No.
Easy. Hey, easy, Chapman. Easy, boy.
What'd you say online?
He's going to have to lick his own law.
I had to cut my bike ride short to
I'm out of
get on
here,
it.
you guys.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Barbara.
I don't want to leave.
You can stay on. Bye.
Mickey, you're doing so good with Zoom. I'm so proud of you.
You look good.
Oh, me too. Me too.
So proud.
Invite me next Wednesday.
John, I wish I was there with you on the beach. I like it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's,
I've got to ask you about that.
that's a good one.
That's one of the
I'm out.
canned backgrounds that you can select in Zoom.
Yeah, I tried to do it for me, but I don't have a clear green or white wall anywhere in the house. Mine was always distorted when I tried to do it. So.
Hey, do you want to stop recording, Amber, so we can?
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
go ahead and stop the
outside under a real tree with real bugs.
good
There you
job.
go.